Episode 88, The Next Step, a coaching session with Sarah Rethwisch. Welcome to Longing for More, where Christians come to strengthen their faith, revive their soul, and learn to live their lives with a sense of fulfillment and peace. Listen each week to learn how to incorporate your faith into your daily activities, stop wandering through life feeling empty and unfulfilled, and begin to live your more. Let's get started. Today we have a really special show for you. In last week's episode, For the Love of Travel, I interviewed travel expert Sarah Rethwisch. And we had a really nice conversation, and she gave a whole new perspective on travel. And I really encourage you to go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already. But as Sarah and I were visiting, it occurred to me that I could tell she was kind of stuck on what her next step might be and struggling with really knowing where the best outcome might be for her. And so I asked her if she'd be interested in coaching through that. And she was. And she was also more than happy to allow me to record that coaching. So something that we've never done on the show before, we are offering in today's episode a recording of me coaching someone through a situation, basically a little laser coaching session. So I hope you'll listen and just kind of pick up on how coaching is. I know a lot of people that listen maybe haven't been through a coaching exercise. And of course, they're all different. So if you were to be coached through a situation, it would be entirely different based on what's on your heart and what's on your mind. And it's just a matter of kind of leading you down the path to what you already know. But I hope you listen today and just learn a little bit about the experience and kind of figure out how that might work in some area where you're stuck in your life. So if you like this technique for the show, I would love to know about it. If you think I should do more of that, let me know. If it's like, not so much, I'd like to know that too. So sit back, listen, and see if you can learn something from Sarah's coaching experience. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you later. Sarah, welcome. Thank you for being willing to do this coaching practice with me.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this should be really fun. To get started, I just want to kind of get you to a place where you can get all of the stresses and just the hurry of the world behind you. So get settled in your chair and take a deep breath. Let it go. Maybe roll your shoulders a little bit, move your neck around, just kind of get those kinks out. Take another deep breath. Just settle in and let all of the stresses go. All right. How does that feel?
Good.
Does it feel good? I love doing that. So I don't know why I don't do that more often. So, all right. So what I would like to know right now is, what is it that you would like? What do you want?
I guess just maybe some direction in terms of where to start, how to make some decisions about how to proceed. I know that my goal is to start a business, but sometimes there's a lot of options out there, and narrowing it down to one to start can be a little difficult.
Yeah. That's pretty much a statement we could use for every day. So yeah. What do you feel having that direction will do for you?
I guess just maybe having that direction would probably allow me to start making some steps in that direction so that once I officially get to Nashville, I could, I guess, get things up and running.
Yeah. And why would that be important to you?
At this point, there's a lot of toss-up in terms of, do I get a job when I get there, or do I, do something part-time and try and get this off the ground, or what that could look like. And just, I guess, having an idea of what I'm going to start working on first probably would allow me to better make some of those decisions.
Yep. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that. So I guess the question that I have is, I'm sure you've been thinking about this for a while, but what are some of the options that you are considering?
Well, I am considering hosting maybe like quarterly retreats, something with speakers coming in and gathering people together, travelers specifically, and kind of maybe doing a tour of the city. I run into a lot of questions with that, being how do you coordinate that with so many people? And do you charge for that, or do you just say, hey, this is free time to go roam the city, you have to figure that out on your own? That kind of thing. Or if it could be something where it's networking for businesses, Christian businesses, allowing them to come talk about travel and network for them. Just different things in that nature. And then also, if I would do something bigger quarterly, maybe in between, maybe planning, booking flights for people, or kind of serving as a travel agent, booking trips for people, I guess.
So, is there one of those that sounds more exciting to you than any of the others?
Um, Probably hosting some kind of retreat with devotions and time to kind of explore the city and let them kind of apply some of the things that they've been learning in the process.
Okay. So, have you ever been to a retreat like what you're thinking of hosting?
No, I have not. It is very different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've been to retreats.
Yes, I've been to them in all different kinds of sizes. The biggest one I think was like 26,000 people, which is not. I'm thinking more personal.
Well, your first one anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe your second one could go to the 26,000.
But yes, I've been on a committee that helped plan it, and I was like in charge of coordinating the speakers. But in terms of like working with the hotels and the accommodations, I wasn't a part of that.
But
Mhm.
you've done your own travel arrangements before.
Yeah.
You know how to work with hotels and right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to proceed with that one, because it sounds the most exciting to you, would you feel okay with setting those others aside, maybe as something that you could do later and just focus on this one initially?
I think so. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So what do you think would be some barriers to you being able to start there and get that started?
Um, I guess kind of the retreat that I envision would be something where they're doing a devotion, and then we're talking about how to identify God in our travels, and then I kind of send them out to kind of almost fend for themselves a little bit, just so that they are getting those trusting experiences.
Mhm.
Um, and kind of like I said, I don't know if that is something that I need to pre-book for them, if it is something that they need to bring money for, but I feel like if they're paying for an event, they probably don't want to have to spend additional money once they're there. So it's kind of those nuances that I'm not sure how to proceed with.
Well, is it possible that you could do something in between.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than completely, like instead of completely having them on their own and go do their thing,
Yeah.
and not on the opposite end of the spectrum, having them, have everything planned out so they just go do it. What if you just gave them, kind of think about like if you go on a cruise,
Mm-hmm.
give you different opportunities to go explore the different locations where you land for the day.
Yeah.
You could give them a menu of things that they could go explore while they're there. So it's not completely just on their own,
Yeah.
but it's also not completely controlled. So they get to pick and choose.
Yeah, that would be good. I'd have to do some more research on kind of, I've never done a cruise, so how those accommodations, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they prepay for those things still, or if it's just kind of like, here are the suggested things. I don't know.
What I'm envisioning as I think about this, and just try this on and see if it feels right for you.
Yeah.
You would just have like a menu of things, and you would have like the links to the different places. So they would buy their own tickets. They would
Mm-hmm.
make their own arrangements to get there. Because I think you're onto something when you talk about them having, doing it on their own a little bit and learn to trust God and allow that room for things to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you would need to, like on a cruise, so basically you can book it through the cruise line and they take care of the details and you just show up,
Mm-hmm.
or you can schedule them on your own once you land or ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have that option. And I don't know that if I were you in this situation, I don't think you should give them the
Yeah.
option. I think you just give them the menu and let them pick and choose what they want to do,
Yeah. And
how
then
they're going to get there.
once they're there, then they can also like start to connect with other people in the group and go out with them as well.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I
How
like
does that
that.
feel?
I like that a lot.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of steps between what you're talking about now and actually making it happen.
Yeah.
Can you kind of in your mind think through what some of those steps might be?
I guess first of all, maybe picking a location or a city, and then kind of maybe identifying a couple different accommodations and that we could host the event at, and then working with them to figure out which is the best, and then probably researching the city and some of those activity options, and some different transportation options as well. And then from there, I guess, once a date and those things are set, promoting it to a group of people to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How does that feel?
I like that a lot and very exciting.
Awesome. Do
Mhm.
you do you think this is something that you want to give a try?
Definitely.
Awesome. Awesome. So what is one thing that you can commit to doing in the next day or two to get you a step towards reaching that goal?
um, well, maybe picking a city and then maybe starting to research maybe 3 different hotels that I could potentially host it at. Mhm.
Are you open to a suggestion?
Of course.
I would really encourage you to pick the city that you're moving to.
That's kind of my hope.
I was going to say for so many reasons. One, because you're right there, so you don't have the whole logistics of doing it from long distance. And two, it gives you the opportunity to learn your new city better
Yeah.
and find the things that you want to explore yourself when you're there,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
So, so to start out with, I truly would encourage you to find something that's going to be fairly close to where you're living, that
Mhm.
gives you the right feel for the atmosphere, that vibe that you want to have.
Yeah.
Find those places. Yeah. So do you think that's something that you could do over the next few days?
Of course, yeah. And then I think I'd probably set it for a few months after I got there so that I have a little bit of time to maybe explore the places myself and give recommendations from my own experience as well.
And there's, from having created some events myself, I will suggest that you don't have to have all of the details pulled together before you make your announcement and have people start raising their hands saying, yeah, I want to do this.
That's good.
You can actually even offer different pricing levels. So you could say, for those of you that are ready to come along for the ride, you get the adventurer price or whatever you want to call it at this, and then say, and then after a certain date, and you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just kind of pick that date, pick a location, and put it out there and say, hey, I'm working on this. Who's interested? And see
Yeah.
how many people you have raise their hand, and then you can kind of build it around that even.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have like a business, or I don't even know what it's called, where you have your own bank account, you have your own forms? Like, have you gone through that process? Yes.
Yes. You're talking about from the behind the scenes, how
Yeah.
people pay for things and all of that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yes. Okay.
I do, and we can talk about that offline if you would like to. That'd
Okay.
be great.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so would there be anything that might prevent you from taking that first step and finding some locations and looking for a date to make this happen?
Um, I don't really know why I tend to hesitate. I think it's just that fear of it not, like, people not getting on board. And then, because when I get an idea, I can really run with it and run with it all the way to the end. But it's maybe just that, like, would anyone really want to do that? That kind of tends to stop me from the first step.
Right? Yes, that's very common. So the problem is until you ask, you'll never know the answer to that question, will you?
That's true. Yeah.
What's the worst case scenario if you put it out there and nobody says, I want to do this?
Well, then I guess we try something different.
Right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't sound so terrible, does it?
No, no.
So, so are we going to do this?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, how does that feel?
Very exciting and promising. I don't know. It's right up my alley. And I think sometimes maybe one of the reasons I hesitate is I have a lot of family that see that I've done, I've gone to college, I have this career, stick with it, don't give up. Um, so this is very different than, it relates to what I went to college for. Not necessarily the travel aspect, but the Christ aspect. And so it's a very different thing to try to start something on your own, but very exciting at the same time.
Right. But you
Mhm.
can see where building it all around helping people experience Christ in their travel is exactly in line with the education that you have, right?
Exactly.
I love that you're basically, I call it, picking up the breadcrumbs or connecting the dots that God has been bringing you along in your life. And this is just an opportunity to basically observe the path that He's had you on, take from those different experiences and create your more.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I really look forward to finding out how all of this goes. And my last word of advice to you is this is all exciting, but be realistic as far as your timeline,
Mhm.
because you've got another big thing coming up before all of that's going to happen. I don't
Yes.
want you to put yourself into a box where you're just really stressed out. So give yourself space to do it and do it
Yeah.
well.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. I am so excited. I can't wait to hear how this comes out. And thank you so much for letting me walk you through that process. I can tell you're excited. You're a different girl that came on the call an hour ago. So
Yes,
love
thank you.
it. Awesome. Thank you so much for this. I look forward to hearing more about it later.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you feel the shift? Did you see how when Sarah joined us, she was really pretty timid about that? And I understand that part of it was just going through the exercise of coaching, but it wasn't just that. She was she was stuck. She had several ideas that she was playing around with, but she wasn't sure which way to go. She was a little bit overwhelmed trying to think about how she was going to do all of those or, just where she was going. And so it was really my great pleasure to be able to sit down with her and help her decide what she already knew inside of her, but she just wasn't able to see because there was too much to go through. And I just really feel so blessed to be able to do that kind of work and help people get past those places, because sometimes honestly we just can't see it for ourselves, and it happens to me all the time. It's not a one and done deal where you get a little coaching and then life is all great, because face it, challenges come our way all the time. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If it's something that you would like to hear more of on the Longing for More podcast, please let me know. Drop me a line. You can, whether you find me on Facebook or send me a message or go to my website at vonajohnson.com, and just there's a contact page on there. However, it doesn't matter. Let me know. Leave a comment on iTunes if you're so inclined to do so. I'd always welcome those kinds of comments. And if you think somebody might benefit from this, please share this episode with them. Again, if you haven't already, go back and listen to the original interview with Sarah. And then also, because Sarah has her own podcast, the Christian Travelers Network, you could go back, and she actually interviewed me and the work that I do. So kind of got a 3-part series going here. So I hope that you will go and listen to that episode as well. If you find yourself stuck and would be interested in coaching either on the show or individually, please let me know. Also, I am creating a new community where like-minded Christians can come together and encourage and support one another. I'm just now working through the details, but please let me know if you'd like to hear more about that. I just really want to appreciate you for stopping by today. I know your time is so precious and you have a million choices of what you could have been doing these last 10, 15 minutes, and I value the fact that you chose to stay here with us. So thank you for that. I want you to go, be blessed, and live your more.